Ready? Cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Alex.
yeah.
I'm ready. I would have responded that way.
No matter what.
Yeah, to crickets, but good evening. It's Thursday, July 24th at 7 p.m. and we are going to call our YPAC meeting for the month of July to order. Lori, if you don't mind taking roll.
Commissioner Humes,
Present.
Commissioner McCormick, Commissioner Mohammed,
Present.
Commissioner Monroe,
Present.
Commissioner Perry,
Present.
Commissioner Wolkoff.
Present.
We have quorum.
Okay. So as you can all see, we have quite a light agenda today. So before we go through voting to approve it, I don't know if anyone has any items that they would like to add to the agenda. But y'all can feel free. Okay. If not, if someone wants to move to approve the agenda, we can do that.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I don't know if you folks have had time to look through pages 2 and 3, which is the minutes of the June YPAC meeting, but once you have, we can move to approve those minutes.
I have a question.
Yes.
On the June 26th, it says that I was absent. And then if you read down to YPAC action items, it says that I seconded a motion. Like, I'm all about being in two.
You are
places.
powerful.
So from the concert hall, I seconded something, I take it.
Where are you seeing that, Gail?
Number 4,
4A, which says May 22nd,
May 22nd.
2025. So that was,
It says
Oh, that was
absent.
May.
that was
Okay,
May.
never mind.
It's, you okay?
I'm okay.
You were there.
I was there.
All righty. Well done.
So it is correct. Then I found it.
It says I'm absent.
It says you're absent.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much, Anthony. I'm like, am I here? Am I not here?
Yeah, this says June 26th.
Because June 26th,
You were gone.
I was absent. And then on May 22nd, it says I seconded a motion. Then if you go down and through, it says here that I was absent on May 22nd.
What I think this is that you seconded a motion on May 22nd, and when we voted on June 26th, you were absent for that vote. That's
Bam.
my interpretation of
All
it.
right.
I
Laptop.
Okay.
And then being
Right,
done.
right. And I don't.
Or do you want me to bring it back to the next?
No.
no, if it needs correction, which I'm not
I will.
positive about.
So I'll take Eric's explanation.
We're not concerned. We know where you live.
Bring over.
No.
You say that.
I know.
So if no one else has any approval items or questions, we can.
All right, then I make a motion that we approve the minutes from June 26th as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment? No. Lori, is there anyone on Zoom? Okay. Okay, so no one else for public comment. Chief, we can pull you off mute here and we'd love to hear from you.
He has his own mute.
Okay.
Can everyone hear me? I'm sorry.
No problem. Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for having me again. Sorry I'm not in person. Helping out, covering a little bit on the road tonight. So trying to be in 2 places at once. So I'll go through, we'll start with the June crime statistics. We'll go through the monthly summary, just on page 1. Again, I think it's just starting at the top. I'm sorry, page 2 of 13. You start at the top with the murder, negligent homicide, justified homicide, parental kidnapping. We've stayed consistent with zeros. However, I would say in these numbers, technically, we did have a homicide that was reported to the city, but because of the way the homicide kind of unfolded, the Washtenaw County Sheriff's is handling that, and they will be reporting that. So you wouldn't see that reflected on any of our sheets. Again, it's because of how the homicide was reported. That this is obviously June, but just in next month, these numbers are going to be zeros, but we would still have that number. So I just want you to know why you wouldn't see that on our forms. CSCs have kind of stayed consistent, non-existent. We've seen the robbery increase. We had 4 this month, 2025, and June 2024. Those robberies did not seem to be unknown incidents. It was like more of a known suspect type. So I don't think we had like a rash of robberies. Non-aggravated assaults kind of stayed the same. 24 last year, 23. That's relatively the same. Again, down at the bottom, I highlighted burglary. Again, I went through these numbers earlier today when I got in. I would say 4 or 5 of these incidents are all tied to business-related break-ins, and it seems like one of the suspects was rearrested and arrested again. So it's counting for 2 stats in those. So I think that's why it's so high. But we did have several burglaries in the downtown area, and we have 2 individuals that were arrested for that. Larceny thefts from motor vehicle were high again. Again, looking at those were all over the city. I know we're a small jurisdiction, but some of those happen as far, like Washtenaw and Hewitt area. Some were on the south side, some were Michigan and Miles area. So they're kind of all around the city, not in those pockets as we saw a couple months ago, where maybe in like the railroad streets, you could see 3 or 4 of them that occurred. So those all around. Again, with the frauds, we're getting a lot of frauds and larceny others. I kind of skipped over that, and I'm on page 3 now. Sorry. Larceny at the top, 23007. Larcenies and these frauds, they kind of are, some of them are really interchangeable. So they're coding them, but we're getting a lot of larcenies still from, packages being stolen on top of money being taken out of people's accounts, or, some of the frauds that are occurring, especially with some of our senior citizens. Retail frauds, that's happening, really in the business district. Some of those are pretty much, similar stores. I would say in most of those, the suspects are, identified. It's just a kind of a criminal prosecution kind of waiting game. Moving to page 4, I didn't note too much. Moving to page 5, talk about juvenile runaways. We've seen a few increases there. One thing I don't think we talk about, or at least I don't talk about enough, traffic crashes. Traffic crashes have stayed high. And many of these we're working through some different processes, but a lot of these have been that Hamilton, Washtenaw kind of corridor. Sometimes it's hard to track exactly where the crash is happening, because the point of impact is not necessarily where people call 911. And what I mean by that is, the crashing happened at Washtenaw and Hamilton, but people, if the car is not disabled, people pull forward to Michigan and Hamilton, and then they say, well, this is where my crash happened. And in the investigation in our it's registered as Michigan and Hamilton, but the point of impact was actually Washtenaw and Hamilton. So it just causes some discrepancies, but those crashes have remained high in that intersection, and really all around the city. We get a lot of distracted driving, a lot of crashes. Nothing really I didn't note on page 6. Many of those are kind of stayed consistent. If we just skip over to page 7, just going through some of the year to date, I like to look at those and just get a gauge of what this year has really happened, what's really occurred. Obviously, up until this point, we haven't had well, we've had a homicide, just wouldn't show up on, our stats. That's being handled by another jurisdiction. But in a lot of these areas, we're seeing just some slight increases. Robberies more so 12 this year versus same time last year 3. The non-aggravated assaults, I mean, they're kind of consistent. The burglary, forced entry, we know those have increased, and most of those have originated from the downtown area, or various businesses throughout the city. Looking at the larcenies again, you see they're staying high. If I'm on page 9 now at the top, larceny other, and some of the fraud and swindle pretense, just people being kind of scammed out of money. We see right below that in the fraud, credit card, automatic teller machine. We've had a couple cases where people have been tricked to actually go to an ATM and withdraw money. So that's where that crime, it could still be considered the same as above, but we've had a few more where circumstances actually are people going to like an automatic teller machine and withdrawing money. Most of these other areas, I mean, we've seen quite a few CCW arrests this year. It was 4 last year, 6, not a huge change there. I was looking at the OWIs. OWIs operating while intoxicated stayed pretty consistent. 11 last year. This is the liquor or drugs. 12 this year so far. So honestly, I think as staffing increases, you will see more, like OWI arrests around the city. I think it's just more people make more stops and come into contact with things. The traffic crashes for last year is actually saying we're a little less, but between last year and this year, a good majority of these crashes are happening really in the same, like I say, that same intersection. But it does, reflects on here that we're actually a little bit less in traffic crashes at the same time last year. Other than that, I don't have anything else for the stats. Anybody got any questions before I move on just to the monthly report, and then I'll go to the Ypsilanti survey results that we got.
Any questions from anyone?
Nope. Self-explanatory.
All right, I think we're good, Chief.
Awesome, thank you. So no new use of force reports to report. We did get one citizen's complaint. Last month we investigated, it was not sustained. That individual has been contacted regarding that. Still no vehicle pursuits. Pretty proud on that. Doing some de-escalation training in-house next week, just starting with our sergeant that went to training will be giving some training to the command staff before that's rolled out into the to the police officers. So that's happening next week. Still currently 10 department vacancies. We've done a lot of interviewing this week. We have 3 lateral candidates, 2 of which we moved into background already, and one is taking his psych here in the next 2 weeks. And another female officer from a surrounding department has applied here, and we're moving her in the background here next week. So she'll get assigned a background investigator. No concern so far with any of that. And then we're starting interviews for employment. We have four people we've identified so far for possible employment to go to the academy, and that'd be October. Just some of the brief community engagement we've been doing, working with Peacenik. Team is out there now with this a Circle Friends kind of group, and kind of interaction between law enforcement and some of the community members. And this past week we had our YPD, YFD open house, and I want to thank everybody who was able to make it, come out and interact with staff. I want to especially give a small, quick shout out to Commissioner McCormick. A lot of positive reviews from the interaction with staff. People were appreciative of the interaction, and I think it went a long way with staff because they've been talking about it all week. So thank for everyone who came out. I think overall it was a pretty good success.
I've got one question, Chief. Thank you for this. So currently 10 vacancies, 2 officers in field training, and then it sounds like you went through, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 folks that are in various stages of like pre-employment screening.
Yes, sir.
So that would continue to bring those vacancies down. How many slots have you filled since you became interim chief and now are chief? Like since you started at the helm of YPD, how many of the vacancies have we filled?
Seven, one a sergeant and 7 road vacancies.
Okay. So we started at 17, now we've got 10, and
Yes,
then
sir. Yep, roughly.
Right.
Because
in the next, yeah,
the
go ahead.
reason, I'm sorry, the reason the numbers, currently we still have a vacancy, kind of at the captain's rank. So one thing we were doing was eliminating that and trying to put that to the road. And put that person, we're trying to create another spot.
Mhm.
So as we fill this out, the next step will be we're going to promote, right? We're going to promote internally. So that will also create vacancies almost back to the bottom. So if we can bring in 3 of these individuals, that will get us down to 7, but we're inevitably going to promote an officer up to the sergeant's rank to help with, overtime and really reducing the overtime budget. So it's still going to be really 8. Because we have to still, once that officer goes, once we take that line officer up, it still creates, a void back at the patrol.
Just for my own understanding, why does having an additional sergeant reduce the overtime burden? Are sergeants like not eligible for overtime in the same way as patrol officers?
No. So currently we have basically 4 12-hour shifts. We have an A side, day and nights, and we have a B side, day and nights.
Yeah.
So on each of those teams, we have a sergeant, and then currently over patrol field ops, we have 1 lieutenant. Kind of had my position where I was as a captain, and then you have a chief of police. Well, when a sergeant takes off or takes vacation, it then requires a sergeant to almost work 2 to 3 weeks consistently, right? And that drives the overtime up and it increases burnout. Also, I mean, people have lives. If a sergeant calls off sick, then we are left scrambling trying to fill that void, because then we don't have necessarily a supervisor. So then it's left for the lieutenant or myself, who are then trying to come in to help with some of those duties. So my thought and what I want to try is that bringing in a sergeant, the hours will be a little different. And my hope is that every time a sergeant is off, there's somebody who's working, already scheduled to work Monday through Friday at least, to help reduce that overtime and that burnout, but also to make sure that we have, a point of contact of leadership still on duty 24/7, 365.
Got it. So it's about reducing at the sergeant level the overtime by having another sergeant.
Yes, it would reduce all of it. It won't eliminate every bit of overtime,
No,
but I
but
think
it's
it will
not about
reduce
like reducing officer overtime by having a sergeant, which is where I was confused.
No, sir. Nope.
I know that's a totally unrelated set of questions, but you have answered them. Those were the only questions that I had. Anyone else?
Anybody got anything else before I move on?
I don't have anything.
Nope.
All right. Just to I'm gonna send this. I tried to send it already. It's a very large file, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way, because I want to get you guys copies of this demographic from the survey. We stopped the survey beginning of the month. Very positive, very good reviews. Several officers, myself, Officer Cheese, Plymell, Tyson, Burgess, Thompson Davis, Strong, and Officer Riddles, all were mentioned on cards that were turned in. If you're looking at the questions, the first question: consider your most recent interaction with the Ypsilanti Police Department. Did the officers resolve your issues? Over 87% agreed either agreed or strongly agreed that the officer resolved the issues. There were 7.5% that were uncertain, and 5% total disagreed. In those cases, like I said, these surveys were coming to my email, so I had an opportunity to review them. In some of these situations, the officers would not have been able to solve the issue simply because a couple of them were civil issues. So I do know I read one survey card where the individual had a civil issue and the officers referred the individual to like probate court. But overall, it was over 87% that felt officers resolved the issue. Next question was, considering your most recent interaction with the Ypsilanti Police Department, do you feel the officers were courteous and professional? Over 97% agreed or strongly agreed. We had a 2.5% disagree on that. The next question, as a result of your most recent interaction with the Ypsilanti Police Department, do you feel safe in your community? Over 82% agreed or strongly agreed. We did have 10% uncertain on that question, and only, it was 7.5% that said strongly disagreed. The question, as a result of your most recent interaction with the police department, were you arrested? 97.5% said no. And the question, if you were arrested, did the officers use a excessive force during any point of your interaction? That was 100% no. So I was proud of that. Should we get into the last, considering your most recent interaction with the Ypsilanti Police Department, did the officer allow the opportunity to explain your actions and or involvement? And again, that was over 97.5% that either strongly agreed or agreed. So overall, I think the survey was positive. I think it showed that the officers from this standpoint are doing what's expected. I would hope to run this survey again sometime here in the near future. I think one thing, we're going to tweak the policy a little bit because I just would like a larger sample size. I do know we gave out a lot of cards, and I think the sample size that we got to return was smaller than I would like. But I think we can tweak some things in house and just see and try to see if we can get a bigger return with some of the cards, some of it from the complaints that they're going on.
I think this is super positive. Thank you for the update. I'm looking forward to seeing when you figure out how to transmit the file. I look forward to looking at it.
Yep.
So, in regards to that, so are you the one who, you're doing all the compilation?
No, we had Danya that works with community services. She put this whole thing together and she just sent it to me in like a PowerPoint format. And it's hence the reason why I can't, for some reason, send this.
Okay, so the information that you're receiving, it's not confidential information, correct?
No.
What I'm looking at, what I'm thinking about is, so there's someone outside of the department can pull this together, put it in a graph, and could possibly do that on a monthly basis or quarterly basis.
Sure.
Yes or no?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so would so the person who's doing it now, are they part of are they on the payroll? They are?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just asking, because I don't know who it is.
He had compiled it.
Said he didn't.
Danya is a staff member.
It's a staff member. I don't know that name. Okay. Okay. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm just wondering if there's someone outside of you, because you have several duties and a whole department to look out for. I didn't want this to be a burden or an added piece to your job assignment. And I was just wondering if there's someone else that could do that, and then could they put that together in a graph form would be, or not a graph, but yeah, in a graph form.
Chief, if you could send as part of this package or separately, and I recognize it might take a little doing, but if I can get my hands on all of the emails, like I could probably throw it into like Chat GPT and have
Yeah.
it put it into a graph. Like I could probably get it done in 10 minutes.
I would tell you, it's in graph format. It's just the way it's
Okay.
broken down. You guys can, we can send you the data and you can compile it however you choose. She has it in pie graph format. That's how I'm reading
Oh,
this
cool.
these
Okay.
numbers. It's just this was so large when every time I tried to send it, it got kicked back. So even if I have to print this out, I can just hand deliver this to Lori and we can go from there. But it is in pie, format, pie graph format. It kind of breaks it down each category where there's no yes. It shows, like I said, she even broke down at the beginning how many officers got specific, comments. I think this is what you're looking for. But again, we could even, I think those also went to Lori. Like I said, that's public information. She can forward you those cards that we have, and I mean you can compile it however you want.
Yeah, I think once we take a look at what you've got already, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So it sounds like we're pretty close or already there. So yeah, once you can get it out, we'll take a look and go from there.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief about what he's discussed or anything else?
I just wanted to add that I really appreciate the feedback report. Great work. Also, I just wanted to mention I support the conversation about transitioning the commander into two sergeants. I think that's a great idea, being that I think our number one issue is personnel followed by budget. And while I feel like a commander would be that's like an awesome resume role, and I hate for someone to lose that opportunity, but we kind of just need to handle business and make sure that safety is done and all of that. So I think you're doing great. I love what I'm hearing.
Any other questions or comments before we let the chief get back to his day job?
At night. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all. See you next time.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about this that doesn't require the chief to answer any questions. Okay. We are back to public comment.
There is no one on Zoom.
And announcements. I would love to hear how your Saturday was.
Saturday, spent it with YFD and YPD, and they had great food. They had a lot of activities going on. They had like cars that had been crashed. You could use a fire extinguisher. You could knock down a fire. You could be in the smokehouse. They had, of course, badges that you can have. YPD gave out like frisbees and water bottles and basketballs and all kind of fun things. Really nice little backpacks and totes to carry them in. So the food was plentiful and wonderful, and everybody seemed to have a good time. It was a steady stream of people coming through, and they had an opportunity to do what they do. Yeah,
Was
get in the
there-
car and cut the sirens on and the lights, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that's always a good time.
Was there a number of, anyone had of, people that might have shown up? Like,
Oh, I have no
couple
idea.
hundred?
No, I just came as a guest, as a citizen, resident.
We got there later in the day, so.
I wasn't like tracking people or anything.
No, I was just wondering if someone someone may have been.
Oh, I don't know.
thinking
Sure,
about
if
that.
somebody has
Just-
a, they have a, could ask.
I'm just curious.
Sounds like you were there also, Gail. Good time.
Yeah, we went and we had our grands.
Awesome. Any other updates from the commissioners in terms of, I don't know, the scuttlebutt, 411, whatever your friends and neighbors have to say?
One of the things that they brought up on Saturday was just the ride-alongs and emphasizing that this is open for all of us. So if we wanted to do a ride-along, then that was an option to do. Police department, I don't know if the fire department does ride-alongs.
I do have another announcement.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to be in the front. I need one of the little
need the-
badges though.
Full experience. You can only get that by riding in the back.
Let's drive to a call and then I'll get out and then you can put me in the back.
Well, they don't let you out.
Of,
The car, if you're on a ride-along, if they do a call, you don't get out of the car.
oh yeah, no, yeah.
Not, I mean, you
Feels
don't,
very-
you don't get your.
Can I
plastic
help?
badge.
Yeah.
Just wanted to put that out there, Eric.
I am gonna have to call the chief. I have loved.
On July 11th, there was a street naming ceremony in honor of Officer Douglas Downing that was killed in the line of duty on July 11th, 1975. There was a great turnout from law enforcement officers across Washtenaw County, a lot of retired officers that were on the force with Officer Downing at that time. There was a dedication, street name was changed. There will be a plaque going up on the building where the homicide occurred. And we had some storytelling by one of the former officers. He did a great job of like just telling you about that entire day and how everything went down. But it was a very, very good ceremony. We had the mayor there and city manager and Debbie Dingle and color guard, and yeah, it was great.
Backside of it, I was driving and picking up students and we saw it. So we found out what it was and then we had an amazing conversation of what it meant. So get somebody else in to talk about it would be cool. Did you know him?
He was my dad's partner. Okay, moving right along.
So would you be willing to come in?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I can show him pictures, but no, I don't care to do a presentation about it.
Okay, no. No, it's just because we did thank you for
I can
sharing.
send you pictures.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Was there any reason that it took 50 years? That you're aware of?
Oh, no. Recently, the retired officers have been getting together on a regular basis. And so they they started on this like
Got it.
last year. They
Oh,
had to do a lot of petitioning with
Sure.
the city and,
Gotta make a sign.
yeah. So,
Okay. That's pretty special.
yeah, it's right down there at Park in Michigan and
Okay.
the street sign is up.
So it's really nice.
Awesome.
It's pretty amazing to drive past.
Any other announcements? Things we should know about?
August 30 by 30 is going to city council. So if anybody wants to be there for the August city council, I was going to talk about it just in the sense of the importance of it, why it's important, just because we're putting it in, that doesn't mean that everything has to be in place in order to vote on the 30 by 30. was also going to talk about some of the things that YPAC has been talking about as far as housing and childcare, and try to get the idea from women with children to people with children. So it just opens it up. So if you have a child, you should be able to work, not, so if you want to come
That's the 12th.
August 12th. I have my notes not with me, but I will happily share them. So if you want to be there, that would be fantastic. Let me know and I'll send you what I have. And if you want to add to it, I'm always up for sharing things and having it changed.
Appreciate you attending to
Right.
carry the banner. Anyone else? Anything else?
Sure, it's the 12th. Why I thought it was the 15th. Trying to look it up.
The
really quick.
15th is a Friday.
Okay,
The
great.
12th is that Tuesday.
Great. Can I share one, if you don't mind?
Not at all.
The surveys, when they are completed, I see them because they go through our website, and in the back end, my name is there, and so I get it.
Okay.
And it's actually really comforting to actually see it, kind of be able to see what's going on before the pie graph. And I don't know if it's an option for yours email, the YPAC email, to be included where you would receive them as well. Now, it is I don't know if it would be confidential information for the person's name, but I would be even open to redacting them and sending them if they come in. It's not that very many. It's not like, I don't think it'd be that big of a chore. But I just want to let you guys know that that is out there. I don't know if y'all could get a permission to be able to receive those fresh right when the person does it. So you can get, but I just wanted to mention that to you if you were not aware how the software works. Okay.
I would love to see those personally. Whether I thought people putting in their name was optional. It is, okay. Yeah, if the names have to be redacted, I think that's fine. But I would personally be interested in.
Maybe you could
Seeing them.
make a request forward as opposed to it coming from me.
Should I email you or should I do it?
You
Okay.
could email YPAC and from you, seeing you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll
And
do.
YPAC email.
Question.
Okay, perfect. Will do. Anything else? Anyone else? All right. I suppose we can adjourn then, if everyone's prepared. Well, I can't.
I make a motion that we adjourn the YPAC meeting Thursday, July 24th at 7:40.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 That's big written. We got it. We done.